Hey everyone, it's Mace1370. Today we are going to do an RTA showcase for Requiem Roana. Before we get into it though, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, please see the video description below for a link to my Discord. Alrighty, well it's been a minute since I made a video. I was super busy moving across the country, bought a house, sold a house, super stressful. Mostly settled now. I've been playing on my alt account, the real Mace account, a fair bit during that time. That's the one I used for the Amazon tournament. More recently though, a friend gave me this account, and it is super stacked, so I'll be using this one from now on. It's going to let me do some really nice unit showcases. Today we're looking at Requiem Roana. She's the new Moonlight 5. Pretty cool character. I think we should look at her kit first, talk about build options, and then we can look at a few games. The important things to note with her kit, she gets like no benefit from speed, and her skill 1 and 3 abilities cannot crit. So as far as her build goes, you want to build her attack, bulk, and effectiveness. Some people talked about putting her on ER, but I don't think that's really worth it, since most of the matches I noticed she's good in are like aggro teams or control teams, and so you're not really getting debuffed in those scenarios. You need to pair her with a really fast frontline unit, because whenever they take a turn, she's going to jump in right after and take a turn. That's kind of like her whole gimmick. So you want that frontline unit to be really tanky, like Conquer Lilius, or maybe a Zeo could work, or stealthy like a Para would be good examples. They need to be fast so that she gets a lot of turns. And her skill 3 here has a cooldown reduction built into it, and her skill 1 has a decreased defense. So the effectiveness stat is important for her. After playing a bunch of games, if I had to change this stat line to make it more optimal, I think I would want more effectiveness. I was resisted by a few high ER Soul Weavers a few times, so kind of like a Pirate Captain Flan, 200 to 250 effectiveness would be really nice. And she didn't seem to do that much damage even with all this attack, so honestly dropping the attack down and getting more bulk I think would be better. So yeah, more bulk, more effectiveness, less attack. I have her on an attack set because I figured you'd want that for the damage, and it technically gives you more stats here versus the two-piece, like the hit or HP sets. But given her lackluster damage, I think maybe building her just on 3 hit sets or a mixture of like hit and health sets could be the way to go. We can look at the gear here. It's decently high gear score and fairly like optimized substats. So in terms of the optimal Roana, you could probably get some higher gear score pieces eventually, but you're not going to get that many more stats for her, maybe 10 to 20 more gear score. So if you want to make any changes here, we're going to have to drop something. So I think I would drop attack, go more bulk and more effectiveness. Her artifact choices, I was testing her with the Ignition Cloth gloves, and I think the attack is nice. It synergizes well with her damage, design, and the increased hit chance is kind of cute. Like if you could hit an Aiden and reset it, that would be really funny. So it gives you a higher chance to do that. Other options, you could consider Edicus Scepter to give her more shots at a skill 3, or you could use Proof of Valor. I think Proof might be best, honestly, just to make her tankier, since this artifact didn't seem to do a whole lot. Let's go ahead and look at some games. Okay, for these matches, I'm going to pre-ban AOL and Lua. I want to do that because I wanted to see if Requiem Roana would fit well into this standard, aggro pivot playstyle, and those are typical pre-bans for that playstyle. The opponent here is pre-banning Ran and Bellion, first picking Conquer Lilius. So the Bellion pre-ban means Stenny's open. We can take Stenny, and then we'll take Zeo, I think, here. Zeo's good into Conquer Lilius. He can, shut down her first turn, prevent the Vigor buff. It also lets us set up Requiem Roana later in the draft. The opponent responds with Aiden and Leica. Leica probably Guiding Light, so Zeo can't get to her, and then Aiden has the evasion, so also decent into Zeo. We can take Para here. I think Para is a good choice into Conquer Lilius. She can put up that buff block and prevent the Vigor. Also another enabler for Roana, so we can take Roana here. It seems like the earliest you can really take Roana is kind of like 3-4. Because you need to have at least one of the enablers for her first, and then you need the ability to take the second one later. Because otherwise they just ban out that enabler, and then it's kind of a 2-for-1 for them, right? So the opponent's in the tank here. We have, I think, okay damage with Spectre, but Roana is not a super high damage unit. Okay, he's taking Arrowell. Arrowell is interesting. I don't really get the Arrowell choice. I mean, I guess it's harder for us to one-shot Aiden, but we have buff block with Para, and that's going to take off Escort, right? Yeah, I don't really love the Airwell pick here. He's flashing Ed. I think Ed is a scarier pick since we don't have Cleanse. It would make us really hard to use our skill 2 on Para, which we want to do. So Ed is a good pick, but we're going to ban it. And since we're banning Ed, that means the opponent only has Aiden left for DPS, so we just have to pick something that can kill Aiden. If we had a turbo, like 300 and plus speeds a Hawk, we would take that, I guess, and then just, I guess honestly we could take any speeds a Hawk because we have Para and Zeo. We'll just take Briarwitch Iceria. She has immunity, so we don't have to worry about Leica. Ban out the Ed here. We have two answers for Conqueror. We can, you know, Para stun, Conquer Lilius, or we can Zeo push back. So our Briarwitch will be safe. And if Briarwitch gets a skill 3 off, which I think she will, then we should be good. Now the one, I guess, way we could lose is if Leica reveals Briarwitch from stealth, and then Airwell stuns Briarwitch, and then he's able to finish off Briar before we can get a skill 3 off. That could be really bad. We do have Roana, though, to reset some skills, so I think we can potentially prevent that from happening. So we're just going to push back here. Okay, we got the silence and the pushback. That's nice. Now we can... Let's see, do we want a skill 2? I think we do want a skill 2 here. We want to get this Aiden counter triggered now rather than later, because if we let it happen later, then Aiden could strip off, you know, the escort or the stealth from Para, which we don't want. And so, you know, in return we'll just take a little bit of damage. We did land on Leica, which is nice. A little good RNG there. Okay, now we get to make our move with Requiem Roana. And she has attack buff, so we get to see the damage here. That's, like, it's okay, I guess. And we did get some skill resets, which is nice. We can look here, looks like, yeah, Aiden is not reset because we didn't hit Aiden. But we don't have to worry about the stun from Airwell, which is good.
I made it in the nick of time.
You can strip off attack buff from Briar, but that's fine. We haven't even triggered our immortality passive. We'll just burn this so we don't get resisted.
Won't you regret this?
Okay, looks like we might have missed on Aiden again. It's always impressive. So you can see how much we got chunked there. That was with escort. So tankiness is important on Roana. You know, is kind of why I was considering, you know, proof. Okay, there we got the hit. So Roy Artifact coming in clutch. And this should finish off Airwell. Very nice.
You're happy. That's enough for me.
Okay, next game. Looks like the opponent is pre-banning Bellion and LRK. First picking Spectre Tenebria. So we're definitely going to respond with a Conquer Lilius. The question is, do we want to take... Let's see, what do we want to take with a Conqueror? I don't like taking Zeo into Spectre, because then we could get Zeo trapped. We could, maybe APOC Ravi is the right choice. I took Hand Guy here. I'm a little wary of getting, you know, cleaved in that scenario, though, if you take the Hand Guy. He doesn't go for it, though. He just takes APOC and Shuna instead. So we have Conquer Lilius for our Roana, so we can take Roana here. I don't know if we need, like, a second super fast enabler since we have Hand Guy. You know, he cycles pretty fast, so I think that's probably okay enough for Roana. Now I think we do need damage, because if we don't take a damage threat here, we're going to be like solo DPS Roana, which is not enough. So I think Sylvan Sage Vivian is the right choice. Great into APOC and Spectre Tenebria, and he only has 2 picks to try and punish it. He could take Solitaria and like as a hawk or something, but we just ban out the Solitaria and take another speed threat, and then he's checkmated, I think, if he does that. So he doesn't go for it. Looks like he's taking Aiden. Aiden's okay. If Vivian uses her skill 3, probably is gonna, miss and trigger the counter. Can threaten Rowana with a one-shot, so Aiden's alright, I guess. We just take something that can threaten the Aiden. Last piece, Corinne or Briarwitch Iceria. I think both would be good. The problem with Briarwitch is if he bans out your hand guy, then Shuna potentially sleeps the Briar and you don't get a turn with her. So I think last piece, Corinne, is a better pick. Since at this point we just, we're fine fighting these 4, we're just going to ban the bottom one. Yeah, it's Politis, we're just going to ban that. So we'll take last piece Corinne here and ban Politis. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty favorable for us. Rowana may die to Aiden, but he's going to have trouble killing Vivian. And we do have the, hit chance glove on Rowana, so if we can reset the Aiden, that's like super game right there. I don't think we need it to win, but it's overwhelming victory at that point. Alright, so we're going to walk. A really fast Shuna would prevent us from doing this, but that looks pretty far back on the CR bar. We don't have to worry about Eternus. Looks like it's not Eternus anyways. Do we want to provoke APOC, or do we want to provoke Aiden? I think honestly we want to provoke Aiden, since the odds, of doing the cooldown reset are lowest on Aiden. We'll control that one with Seal Alias, and we can probably cooldown reset APOC here. We do miss on the Aiden. It still did pretty decent damage though through the miss. Yeah, it didn't reset. We can just boost up with Hand Guy here, though, and then kill the Spectre, because we don't want her to get a turn.
It's time to test the limits of my magic by the majesty of nature. Be humbled.
Okay, yep, Spectre down. And APOC reset, so we don't have to worry about APOC killing Hand Guy. With attack down, I don't think she'd do that anyways. We have Vigor, so we're fine. So yeah, Rowana didn't seem to add a ton this match. If we can get a hit on Aiden with her, I guess that would be good. Alright, do we want to... I don't think we want a skill 3 here because we'd worry about Shuna using her skill 3 afterwards, so we have to hold our skill 3 with Hand Guy. We can just reset, or not reset, but attack down APOC Ravi. Or I could get resisted, that's fine too. And do we want to go into APOC, or do we want to just go into Shuna here? Or Aiden? I don't think it matters too much. Pull Hand Guy. I guess maybe Shuna was the right choice so we don't see our boost as team. I was hoping just to get a lucky pull with Rowana there and kill the Aiden. And we missed again. So that's pretty unlucky. We have the hit glove. I think we were pretty favored to hit Aiden at some point there and just kill her. But now the tides have turned and Aiden kills our Rowana instead. So that was a little unlucky. Alright, here comes the, strip, sleep and attack down. But we've held our skill 3 on Hand Guy, so that's fine. Oh, he's trying to finish off Hand Guy? You're not going to do that. Okay, now it's just a Vivian solo. Shuna's still alive, can finish her off now. I guess APOC is not skill 3'd, so he's probably going to skill 3 Hand Guy and bring someone back. I guess Aiden would be the worst one for us. Aiden or Spectre.
I'll deal with this. I will open the doors to hell.
Let's see who he gets. He gets Shuna, so that's unlucky for him. I think we were still fine if he brought the other 2 back. Right, because Spectre was reset, so Spectre couldn't stun our Vivian. So we did get a little value from Rowana there. And Aiden couldn't have killed her, so yeah, I think we were fine either way.
Really going to win this.
So Rowana didn't do a ton this match, but she got some bad RNG, I think.
Not fear death. Seizing
At this point, we're just getting roped.
I'll take your life. The time has come.
Okay, that's game.
But I win.
Here we are for game 3. The opponent has first pick and gets Conquer Lilius. They have banned out Ran and Arrowell. That's interesting. Well, Conquer first pick means we can take Zeo. That'll help control Conquer and set up our Rowana later. Let's see, we can't take Spectre. We could just take APOC, I guess, for an anchor. Seems okay.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Not bad.
Okay, he takes Spectre. That feels like a little early. And a Shuna. I mean, I guess we have Zeo, so we're probably not taking Bellion. But since we have Zeo, I mean, that shows that we're going aggressive, and he's picked Spectre here with no mitigation, so I feel like you could just cleave at this point. Like, Shuna doesn't prevent you from cleaving either. Like, Ran seems pretty scary to him. I guess we could take Ran. Para, also good. I think Para works probably a little bit better with Rowana since she can stealth. Ran is a little more vulnerable. So I think you want to go Para here if you want to take Rowana, which, you know, that's what we're doing, right? So we're going to take Para. This is pretty similar to the comp we had in the first match. I'm trying to think, like, how does, you know, Rowana get value here? She can reset Conquer Lilius, which is nice. But, you know, Zeus is going to silence her, probably, if we get the Zeo through. Yuna is interesting. Something I do like about Rowana, though, she has pretty cool synergy as a follow-up to an opener that removes buffs, right? Because one of the things that people do when you pick Zeo or pick some of these openers is they'll pick Guiding Light units to try to contest you. And Rowana can kind of follow up and then reset the skills of those Guiding Light units, so it gives you kind of a way to interact with them. Now, if they're on immunity, that's like less good with Zeo, right? But if you have Conquer Lilius, it's like really hard for them to, you know, pick that into you. I mean, granted, it's hard to pick Guiding Light units into Conquer anyways, but it, you know, really forces them to be on immunity if they want to do that. So yeah, the Yuna I'm not really scared of. It would have to be like insanely fast. And we have Zeo and Para, so Yuna's a strange pick. But we have our Zeo Para Rowana combo wombo here. So let's see. Our Para has outsped Conquer Lilius, so we'll just push back the Shuna in case of Eternus or some such nonsense. Probably that's the highest ER thing, and it does resist our Zeo. That might have been 15%. Alright, well, our Para lands a debuff. Our Para has 200 effectiveness, so this isn't, you know, like a 350 ER Shuna, so there's probably some RNG there in that Zeo resist. Okay, here comes Rowana. We can skill 3.
It's a requiem in your memory.
Oh, and we reset the Shuna there. Okay, so yeah, that was a resistance, right? Yeah, Shuna's reset. But Yuna resisted, and Spectre Tenebria resisted. Interesting. Unlucky. The Spectre reset doesn't really matter too much. Okay, then we resist on Zeo. So this game's a clown show. Yuna does like nothing there. We'll just kill Shuna.
If you wish to die.
And let's see, we can stun. We'll just stun Conqueror. Roana and Zio will finish off Yuna. Alright, let's look at this insane damage here. You can burn her to get that defense break 100%, but pop. So that's like 9.4k on a squishy. So her skill 1 doesn't seem like it can finish off squishies well. Maybe that Yuna might have a little more bulk. I didn't check.
How incompetent.
I mean, 9.4k will kill like Idas and stuff. Overall, though, the damage seems a little underwhelming. One possibility for using Roana that I thought about, didn't get a chance to test, if you like first pick Faithless Letica, you might be able to run Roana. If the opponent overcommits to anti-cleave, then you can kind of shift into a debuff comp. Could possibly get some use out of her that way. I think she's going to be kind of like a niche pick on like 4 or 5. It's tricky though. She's not like some of these niche like super counter picks where, you know, you see them and you just pick them at the end, because you have to have setup for her, right? You have to have those fast, you know, units in the beginning. So probably will get buffed in the future, but fun to use for now. Thanks for watching. Later.